All right, so welcome back. Hopefully, all of you guys are having a fabulous day here today. Hopefully, everybody's having a great time and everything associated. We got some pretty fun things to jump into and some pretty fun things to talk about, as it's now time for team building. Yes, you want to know how to craft the best team possible. You want to be able to destroy any boss, anything associated. Today, we're going to go over team building. We got a nice little article over here to read through and also show off what Game with JP has to offer. So today, let's have some fun with it. New to the channel, like and subscribe. It helps out a ton. Let's go through this, talk about team building, characters, and everything associated, and get you started on the right path. Also, again, a lot of you watching aren't subscribed. Check. Hit that subscribe button. It helps out. So pretty much Game with JP published this over here, which was a very easy way to kind of read through this and also show you what they're cooking up with when it does come to pretty much team recommendations. This also comes with the JP side. So remember, the JP side, they were the ones who actually ended up cracking the highest damage total compared to every other region. They also did potentially maybe spend most amount of money compared to every other region. Who knows? But they did cook up very good and very well done team comps to get that idea for this is what the best raid team is. Obviously, we do know that with raids and everything associated, every raid will be different, buffing a certain meta. It also looks like, be aware, if you care for top raid score, do not. It's a horrible thing to think, right? Why? A lot of the time, they might go down the path of saying what? They're probably making each character debut tied to each raid. That is a new thing that gachas kind of go for. It's been a staple for a bit now, but it's been popularized recently. They're, for example, making Ichikawa the top tier character in each raid, or currently this raid. Now, the next banner that launches, that will be the top tier character in that raid. So please be aware of that. If you really care to like make sure your account is like top tier raid status, you might have to pull for each character. It's up to you. I'm just saying my point. But first thing over here, we have the first sort of build. We have Ice Crystal Reno build, Kaiju number 8 General Use build, Mina anti-boss build, and over here small monster build. So first up, Reno Ice Crystal build. It's rocking Ichikawa, it's rocking Gen, Mina, and basically the the father right over here, Shinomiya. This build focuses on maximizing the Ice Crystal damage. 4-star Mina can buff attacks of Reno, boosting Ice Crystal damage. And Narumi, which is Gen, is there to trigger core exposure. Upon triggering, Reno can follow up, dealing additional damage. And then also we have there providing shields for the team from Shinomiya's father. What I will say is, I think every team here sort of has a defender. If you want to go and rock this game the correct way, it does seem that you need at least one defender. In sort of context, I don't think we have our best defender yet. I truly think that our upcoming character will bring the defender to the game, and that'll be like the crazy defender that we need. But for now, it's Yuraki Shinomiya's again pops over there. That is basically the Reno Ice Crystal build. So there's that, and I think that ended all right from what I've seen. The two teams that ended up stomping in the boss and such were the teams that I wrote down over here, which I have to find now. But it was first this team, which is the Ice Crystal one shown here, and then it was a different variant with Ichikawa, Kaiju number 8, Gen, and same, right, Shinomiya, right, father over here. So that was the other team. Both the same way, they just didn't run Mina, they ended up running just the replacement for Kaiju, and that's what they went for there. Kaiju number 8 General build, a versatile setup that clears mobs using Kaiju number 8's insta-kill and Kikuru's AoE combat skill. Since both of their ultimates are single target attacks, this squad also outputs solid damage in boss fights. So a farming team is basically what you got over here. It also does great in bossing, obviously boss fights, but mainly if you're looking for that, you got 2 4-stars that you can build over here, which remember, got the beginner's guide and other ways to pick up so many dupes for these characters that the 4-stars finally are starting to become useful because we're learning how much benefits they have when those dupes come into effect. Because a maxed out 4-star can compete with a base 5-star. Base meaning one duped, or no duped, sorry, no duped, just base copy. Mina anti-boss build. This team is built around 5-star Mina's high firepower, specifically tailored for large boss fights. 4-star Hoshina is included to provide critical damage buffs, taking full advantage of Mina's guaranteed crits. If you're wondering, one of the better 4-stars in the game, it is Hoshina because of those buffs and because of what teams he correlates to. It's a very good character that'll probably still last for like a good 3 or 4 months of the game, unless we get a better buffer. And you know how these games go. Most likely a defender's up and coming, and then at some point a supporter. But can it compete with Hoshina's support right now? Or will it be for different sort of, again, you have different attempts per day exactly how that's going to go is a question. So for now, Hoshina 4-star is a very good crit build character. AoE anti-small monster build. Over here we have this build is designed for stages with smaller enemies, stacking characters with blast or AoE attacks. Since this team runs 3 attackers, you can viably swap one of them with a support like Rio. And that is again Rio over here. Another support-based character that can be put over here. So again, Rin is again is not a good character in most content. If you're going against the farming content where there's just, again, so many sort of, again, small monsters to fight, then she pops off. No doubt. She's very good for AoE. It's just the need, all right? When you see her in other content, no, not that good. When you see her in AoE content, yeah, it's going to be good. Again, obviously speaking, and then again, Hoshina, which this Hoshina is 2 different things. One's a damage-based, yes, AoE Hoshina. One is a crit build Hoshina. That's 2 different things, 4-star, 5-star. And again, remember, he was for free, so they did kind of give you both the idea that Kaiju No 8, one of the better characters, and Hoshina, one of the better characters, which is nice, right? But that's how that one worked. They also have recommended low rarity free-to-play teams. Over here, a team is centered around Kafka over here, who anyone can max out by progressing the beginner's guide. Once he transforms into Kaiju form, he can perform on par with 5-star characters. If you obtain Kaiju No 8 from the 5-star exchange, you can swap him into Kafka's, or can get Kafka's slot. Then we have Kikaru, Mina, and we have Mina's over there. So that's the team. But if you're looking at like team tips and such, they say always have at least 1 defender. And most of the time that's true. Okay, in some content, maybe not, but in most content that is like 99% true. There's also just have some sort of buffer, some sort of support character. There's Mina, there's Rio, and then there's, what is it? Then there's this over here, right? Yeah, Hoshina. So that's kind of the thing to go for. Depending on the team, characters like Rio that will boost your overall damage are especially recommended. Pay attention to the buddy system. That's always the case. In Kaiju No 8, slots 1 and 2 and slots in 3 and 4 become partners. Some characters have effects that only trigger with a partner, so always keep positioning in mind when building your team. And then over here, they just have the rest of the guides and such, but that's what you're looking for, right? If you're trying to look for team building, if you're trying to look for that type of stuff, that's kind of what you got over here. There's always replacements to any team, correct? But Ichikawa, sort of alongside just a 5-star build with like anybody associated, is enough to consider like a powerful character and just a powerful team. If you're running, like, let's say you don't have Gen, just swap in place for Gen, just swap in, like, for example, Kaiju No 8, and you're good to go. I would say that whatever it is, core teams, there's just like 1 defender. So let's say, right, Iseo over here, and then Ichikawa, and then 2 flex. If you can put a supporter, put a supporter. If not, it's all fine. For example, like my starting team build was like running originally Kaiju No 8, Ichikawa, Rin, and who was the 4th? Kikaru. That was mine. Not a great one, not a 10 out of 10, but still efficient to do most content and everything associated. Obviously, when time progresses, and when time progressed, I picked up Gen, I swapped that in. I was able to pick up, or max out a lot of the 4-stars. We did see a pickup for Hoshina, and that's what I went for afterwards. So when you have that ability to build, you can then expand and sort of go about it that way. But don't sleep on 4-stars, right? Obviously, 5-stars are going to be theoretically better, and moving forward, they're going to be better, no doubt about that. But don't sleep on the 4-stars. There's a lot of good 4-stars out there that will definitely help out and definitely be at least useful for the future. So keep that in mind when it comes to it. But that's pretty much what I got for you here today. Pretty much what this guide has to offer. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite team is so far, and what you think the meta teams are, because everybody has their own opinion, right? Take care, have fun. That's been it from me.